Speaking of freaking out, ladies and gentlemen, this reads like it's an Onion headline, but it's not. Apparently, there are parents in Wisconsin who are freaking out because there was a reading assignment about a Muslim girl praying.
In the context of fighting the Taliban for the rights of girls to have education. So you see how deep that conspiracy goes.
Let's listen to what they had to say about this in Wisconsin.
Some parents in Eau Claire are upset with what's being taught in their schools. They are claiming students had to memorize an Islamic prayer.
Now, the superintendent says that is not the case, and the rumors in the community are inaccurate. WSBT 22.
Pause it for a second. The idea that they would have to memorize a Muslim prayer. Sweet Lord. Continue.
Shaw is just back from Eau Claire. And Zach, this has to do with a book being taught to third graders.
Now, the book's called Nazrine's Secret School, and it's set in Afghanistan. It's part of a curriculum called Engage New York. That curriculum is being implemented at the Eau Claire schools this year. Some parents, though, are already calling for the school to change back to last year's teaching.
It walks a very gray line for being religion, preaching religion, or just exposing them to it.
That's how some Eau Claire parents feel about this excerpt from one of the third grade books.
Please, Allah, open her eyes to the world, I prayed as I left her there.
School Superintendent David Gray says there's
Pause it. I feel the Muslim in me arising because I heard those words. I like how it's they're teaching them religion or just exposing them to it. These Wisconsin parents also on the front lines of no Christmas songs or talk of Christmas or anything like that in their schools. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Let's just play a little more of this. Let's see.
Rumor that students are being forced to memorize or recite a prayer.
There's nothing in the curriculum that's requiring or any expectations that the students learn any Islamic prayer.
Sherry Keene is the president of the Eau Claire Parent-Teacher Organization and thinks the book choice blurs a line.
It's supposed to be completely separated between the school and religion.
Art Keene views the book a little differently than his wife.
I'm okay with being exposed to it, but as long as it's balanced. But the problem is if the teachers aren't prepared, I mean, they're getting the material and they're printing it out.
It's the preparation that's the Keene's biggest complaint with the new curriculum.
The teachers...
Right. We don't need to hear any more of this. They're not supposed to acknowledge even that religion exists? All right. You know, this is all, of course, we all know why this is happening. This whole exposing kids to other cultures that may be different than theirs or any religion whatsoever. It's because of the commander in Islam.
Allahu Akbar.
Oh, there he is.
How's it going, Ben? How's it going, Sam? What's going on?
It's going fine.
Look, nothing gives me greater pleasure than seeing the sickly, pale faces of white children in middle America praying to Allah. You know, look, I hope to go to Cuba before...
Is cheese halal?
Well, that's a good question. You're on point there. There's probably some shopkeepers there that are going to have to feel the consequences later on, but that's not top priority right now. What we got to fast track is this. Trying to get to Cuba before my term expires. I say that with a laugh, obviously. Expires. I'm going to be around for a long time when I'm declared sultan. But regardless, trying to get to Cuba, I want to celebrate the revolution out there. The problem with the Cuban Revolution is this, is that if you cannot sustain the revolution without the inner discipline of Islam, Sam.
I see.
So you see the Cubans breaking down because they don't have the moral fortitude of the Islamic faith. And when you fuse Allah's revelation through Muhammad with the dialectical nature of history as described by Lenin, even though he was an infidel, explosion, man. That's the answer right there.
And then, of course, you teach that by this curriculum. That
So what you do is you slide in a book about a little girl being like, wow, 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 I want to be able to get education, and the Taliban are mean. You give all that nonsense to fool the liberals.
Right.
Next thing you got some little cheeseheads down there all of a sudden praying to Mecca. And that's when the big stuff happens.
The big stuff.
The big stuff.
Well, what exactly is the big stuff?
Yeah, I can't give away the store, all of it at once, man, but I think you know what's happening. I've been sharing this with you and your dozens of listeners for a long time.
Well, I think we actually now have probably tens of listeners.
No, I saw you shooting up in the iTunes rankings. Good job. You still got a couple months to convert.
All right. I appreciate that.
It would improve your health, your marriage, and your emotional well-being.
Well, all those things could use some help, so
Clearly.
I appreciate that.
Allahu Akbar.